Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sketching the storefront of a tiny bakery. My composition is almost identical to the reference image, but what drew me to paint it was the interplay of line and color. The structure is just a simple square, so I didn't bother with a pencil sketch. The building has two main sections. The upper half is a muted grayish ochre, and the lower half is light blue. The gray-yellow portion is exactly half the height of the light blue one. Grab a ruler or just use your hand to gauge the approximate placement. Then you can start drawing. Before you put down any marks, take a moment to pin down the correct placement by using comparative measurement. For example, when drawing the upper window, compare its width to the wall on either side. You'll notice the window is about 1.5 times the width of the left wall, and the plant pot sits right on the wall's midpoint. Apply the same method step by step, and you'll be able to find the accurate position and size of every element. To draw the awning, first locate the tip. Drop a vertical line from the upper left planter down to just below the shop sign. That's your apex. Next, find the right edge of the awning. It lands roughly at the midpoint of the storefront's front. Draw a slanting line there. For the left half, measure the width from the apex to the right edge with your hand. Then sketch a slightly shorter horizontal line from the apex toward the left. This gives you the basic shape of the awning. Next, use the same comparative sizing method for the farther awning and the tables and chairs. Keep them loose, most of their lines are tangled and complex, so capturing the general shapes is enough. Drawing one long, continuous straight line in a single breath is tough. Instead, use short line strokes, just like I'm doing, so that a straight line becomes a series of small dashes. It keeps the sketchy, pencil-like look, only you can erase it, but you save all the time you would otherwise spend roughing things out in pencil. The key to a successful sketch like this is to let go of countless details and abandon the quest for perfect accuracy, focusing instead on the main structure and the essential objects. Keep an eye on the proportions between the breadshafts and the storefront. It's best to follow the reference image. Count the approximate number of tiers so the loaves don't end up oversized. When drawing the floor tiles, watch the angle of the diagonal lines. They determine the perspective. When drawing the containers on the shop shelves, you only need to sketch their shapes loosely and vary their heights and sizes. There are far too many loaves on the shelves to count and shoot each one. Instead, add just enough to serve your composition only, the number that keeps the shelves looking full. Add a few brick-like lines to the wall. It instantly makes the scene more interesting. You can use the bricks that catch your eye or stand out in the reference photo as your guide for drawing the lines. If you worry the letters won't come out right with a pen, sketch them first in pencil. Let's start adding color. The wall color is a mix of yellow ochre, burnt umber, and a hint of green. I added a touch of leftover red, so little it's almost imperceptible. The yellow that appears on the paper is still quite saturated. When laying down color, there's no need to fill every inch. Leave some paper untouched for breathing space. Paint the window in a very light blue. Give the storefront a wash of pale blue as the base color. And again, don't fill every inch, leave some untouched paper. When you lay in the shop's light blue, work quickly so the varying shades of blue can melt together seamlessly. The blue shadow was mixed from cerulean blue and ultramarine blue. The awning's shadow had a slight color cast, so I added a touch of green to set it apart from the shopfront's shadow. Another reason is that the awning sits closer in space. Adding a hint of green warms it up slightly, pushing it forward visually. The upper wall is built up from roughly 4 or 5 colors: a pale yellow base, a deeper yellow, a grayer yellow, and a yellow-tinged charcoal for the shadows. Each mix was repeatedly tested on scrap paper before it reached the wall. The shadow beneath the windowsill is a mix of green, burnt umber, and yellow ochre. It can also be used for the shadows on the potted plant. Add subtle color variations to the bricks on the wall as well. Use the shadow mix to accentuate the structure of the window frame. The interior palette is warm. The darkest note is black, followed by orange yellow, orange red, and ochre. Mix these colors first and test them on scrap paper to make sure they're the shades you like. Then block in the colors, roughly following the reference image, just enough to separate the bread from the shells. I built it up layer by layer, working from light to dark. Working this way makes mistakes less likely and keeps the overall picture under control. The pillar on the right has just 2 layers of color. For a container on the top shelf, I assumed the light was coming in from outside the shop, so I kept the highlight in the center. I didn't make the shadows on the lower half of the shelf as dark as in the reference photo, because I thought if they were too black, they might look jarring. Paint the table and chairs by laying down a base color first. Then introduce variations in hue and value. Use the same base color for the wooden flower box on the windowsill. Use a slightly deeper gray-blue for the shadows on the glass panes. I mix cerulean blue with gray to get this hue. You can also achieve it by diluting cobalt blue with plenty of water. For the shadow on the windowsill, I blended burnt umber with gray, then added just a touch of green and ochre.